¿Volvieron? ¿Cuba sí bloquea o no?
Cuba sí
¿Bloquea o no? ¿Cuba sí bloquea o no?
Cuba sí bloquea o no.
The Cuban Five are free. My name is Ike Nahum, and on behalf of the July 26th Coalition, Casa de las Americas, and the 1199 SEIU Latin America Democracy Committee, I have the pleasure to call this celebration of our great victory to a short and temporary order. Washington has retreated, but we know the fight is not over, and what has been conquered puts us in the best position ever to finally, once and for all, end the criminal blockade. We decided tonight that there will be no long and comprehensive program. Tonight we're here to party hard, to eat, drink, dance, and groove. We got some great music to talk with and embrace each other, to congratulate ourselves for fighting and uniting together, and especially for winning. But we must also take a moment now. We must also take a moment now to recognize and give some special thank yous and remembrances. That's my job here briefly before introducing tonight's co-chairs, Sister Gail Walker and Brother Frank Velgata, for our very brief program with our very special guests. Now, rather than a moment of silence, let's give a rousing ovation to the memory and example of three outstanding fighters for this cause who passed before being able to savor this fantastic moment that they did so much to produce. Brother Luis Miranda, who first raised the banner of the July 26th movement in New York City, a founder of Casa Cuba and Casa de las Americas. Reverend Lucius Walker, Lou was our great revolutionary preacher and founder of IFCO Pastors for Peace. And Leonard Weinglass, Lenny was our great revolutionary people's lawyer, lead counsel for the Cuban Five, who worked tirelessly for their freedom, literally writing and editing legal briefs on his deathbed. Let us also remember with love and solidarity other longtime fighters and supporters of this great international cause who passed last year. Amiri Baraka and his wife and companion and fellow revolutionary fighter, Amina Baraka, is here tonight. Thank you for coming. Elambe Broth, Saul Landau, and Norman Hodgett. A very special thanks to the sisters and brothers from 1199 SEIU. Always steadfast in the cause, always there for us, the favorite union of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Estela Vasquez, Steve Kramer, Radames Rivera, and Luis Matos. And the President, George Gresham. to the sisters and brothers of Casa de las Americas, Jaime Mendieta, Nancy Cabrero, Franklin Flores, and Gilberto Villa. Let us also give special recognition to 5 special veteran sisters in the struggle for their decades of work in defense of the Cuban Revolution and the Cuban Five. Jane Franklin, Joan Gibbs, Lynn Stewart, Nellie Bailey, and Rosemary Mealy. A very special recognition to our brother and another great People's Revolutionary lawyer who was always ready to pitch in for revolutionary Cuba and the Cuban Five, Michael Tarif Warren. And to another revolutionary preacher, our great friend and ally, Reverend Luis Barrios. Special recognition to the Black, Puerto Rican, and Dominican organizations who were at the center of our united efforts over all these years. Pro Libertad, who initiated the Popular Education Project to free the Cuban Five. Fuerza de la Revolución, Harlem Tenants Council, People's Organization for Progress, Puerto Rican Nationalist Party, and Zulu Nation. Finally, in alphabetical order, because I don't want to be accused of any personal preference, the political parties and organizations that overcame ideological differences and baggage to unite and work together in the struggle for what we all agreed on: defense of revolutionary Cuba and freedom for the Cuban Five. Answer Coalition, Communist Party USA, Freedom Socialist Party, International Action Center, Party for Socialism and Liberation, People Power Movement, Picas y Sare Labor Center, Socialist Action, Socialist Front of Puerto Rico, Socialist Workers Party and Pathfinder Press, Workers World Party, and Venceremos Brigade. And to WBAI, Cuba in Focus, Peggy Gilpin, and Sally O'Brien. And to all the activists and organizers of this great cause, and please forgive me whoever I left out. So, our work is not ended. Free Oscar Lopez Rivera. No sanctions against Venezuela. Hasta la victoria siempre. Venceremos. Please welcome Gail Walker and Frank Delgado.
Are we excited? I don't know. It sounds a little quiet in here. I want our friends, our brothers and sisters in Cuba to hear the celebratory roar coming from this room. Can you join me? Let's go. All right. I know I joined all of you in expressing our profound excitement. With words fail us. But it's so wonderful. Our dear friends here from Cuba, our friends from across the globe who have been working for this time, for this day. We are so excited at this wonderful accomplishment. We know that there's a lot of work to be done, but excited nonetheless. We know that we would be remiss in not taking a moment to mention that there have been many different people who have been involved in the struggle. This struggle does not just reside in Cuba. We know that here, we have been engaged in a struggle to fight against oppression, the oppression that too many of our brothers and sisters here in the belly of the beast encounter. And so we would be remiss to mention Trayvon Martin. Eric Garner. Michael Brown. Too many to mention. But while we are here celebrating. We have to remember that our fight, our struggle, our work continues, not only in Cuba, but across this United States as we fight against those levels of oppression. So all victims of police brutality and victims of political prisoners, Mumia and Oscar and Leonard, countless, the list goes on and on. We just wanted to be able to take a moment to acknowledge them and to revere the work that many have been doing to continue to fight for their freedom. So our work does continue, but in the meanwhile, we're going to take a moment to celebrate this incredible victory. And I'm going to ask my co-moderator here, Frank Belgaro, to come forward and to share some words. But thank you all for being here. And Vincent Amos.
Before I add another person to speak to you all, and you'll understand why in a second, I just need to mention the other organizations that have been with us in the struggle to bring the message of solidarity, human solidarity, to the people here in the United States. And that's the organizations from the Puerto Rican movement, particularly in New York. The Puerto Rican Independence Party, New York chapter. The Coordinadora de Free Oscar Lopez and the National Boricua Human Rights Network. The Pro Libertad Freedom Campaign. And other representatives. Also here with us tonight, and I'd like to recognize the compañeras from the National Jericho Movement. Jericho was formed in '98 to do work around the nearly 200 political prisoners in this country. We're a proud member of National Jericho, and I also want to welcome the people from the Leonard Peltier New York chapter, which we're also a part of. As I said, there's plenty of people here that have been left out. What's important to note is that in the struggle to free the five, over 300 committees worldwide have taken up this work. Their victory, Cuba's victory, is our victory, and it's a global victory. It is the victory of the people. Before introducing our special guest, many of you know that you've been here at 1199 many times before. This has been the home of not only Cuba solidarity, Puerto Rico solidarity, Venezuela solidarity, Colombia solidarity, the Black Liberation Movement. And so we've asked Estela Vasquez, longtime compañera and representative, vice president of 1199, to welcome us to her home. Estela.
Buenas noches, familia. Good evening, comrades. Bienvenido a nuestra casa, y esta noche nuestra casa es su casa y es también la casa de la Revolución Cubana. This evening, our house is your house. Welcome to it. But tonight, our house is also the house of the Cuban Revolution. Por muchos años, este sindicato ha tenido el honor y el placer de dar solidaridad a la Revolución Cubana. Y nos sentimos orgullosos. Algunos de ustedes tal vez estuvieron aquí en los años 70, cuando celebramos un aniversario del cuartel Moncada, y aquí en la calle 43 nos entramos a piñazo con los gusanos que estaban al cruzar la calle. Say that some of you may have been here in the 70s, when we commemorated another anniversary of the Moncada assault, and some of us defended the right to have that celebration with our own hands and our own fists against the gusanos that were across the street. Pero esta noche no es para rememorar historia, es para celebrar, es para conmemorar 56 años de un proceso revolucionario que ha inspirado a nuestro continente y al mundo entero. Tonight is not a night for history lessons. It's a night to commemorate the 56th another anniversary of the Cuban Revolution, a process that has inspired all of us in Latin America and around the world. So welcome to 1199. Bienvenido. La lucha sigue. Pa'lante.
Sisters and brothers, Lynn Stewart is in the house. Lynn Stewart is in the house. Welcome, my sister. Welcome, Ralph. Thank you all for your support of Lynn and your continued support. Before we introduce our honored guest, we have a surprise. I would like to ask Alejandro Molina to come forward. He has a gift from the National Boricua Human Rights Network and the Oscar Lopez National Campaign for compañero Rodolfo Reyes, the Cuban ambassador.
De parte de la campaña, no solamente de la red boricua, pero la campaña por la libertad de Oscar López Rivera, de un pueblo en lucha a otro pueblo triunfador, les queremos otorgar este afiche al compañero Rodolfo y al pueblo cubano. Sorry, the silk screen is by Doug Winkler, a San Francisco-based artist, and it's predicated on the quote of Oscar that says, "After my family, what I missed most is the sea." Gracias.
Gracias, Alejandro. We also have another special guest, and we don't want to be remiss in recognizing him, and that's Arnaldo Barron. Arnaldo is a historic figure of the Cuban Revolution and solidarity in the United States. When Fidel was in New York, he stayed with Arnaldo Barrón. Barrón was one of the founders of the July 26 movement and of the Orthodox Party. When Fidel was in the Sierra Maestra, he was arrested in Texas with a boat full of arms that he was bringing to Cuba for the revolution. He was sentenced to 10 years and was released and was recognized recently in Cuba for being one of the favored sons and daughters of the Cuban Revolution. For all his work, we say thank you, Arnaldo Barrón. And of course, as we all know, behind every great revolutionary, there's an even greater woman revolutionary, his compañera Gloria. Sisters and brothers, I have the honor of recognizing both Rodolfo Reyes, the permanent representative of Cuba to the United Nations, and Oscar León, the deputy ambassador of Cuba to the United Nations. I would ask you to stand as we hear the words of el compañero Rodolfo Reyes, permanent representative of Cuba to the United Nations.
Thanks a lot for this particular, no, you please sit. Thanks a lot for this particular opportunity to be celebrating with you. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to be celebrating with you the anniversary of the Cuban Revolution. I would like to say that I have mixed feelings, because here there are so many fighters, so many people committed to social causes, and now we are very happy because we have that kind of achievements in our fight. Particularly, we have back to Cuba our 5 brothers that has been on jail unfairly for so many years here in the US. This is a very special, you can understand and you can realize, all of you, how happy every Cuban are on this. But particularly on this, what I would like to say is thanks, because thanks to you, thanks on your solidarity, thanks on your support, thanks on your fight any day, they are back to Cuba, because they are not released, because the American government changed their position on this. They has been released because they realize that this unfair action has been condemned by the international community, and particularly for people like you. Thanks a lot. I was saying also that I have mixed feelings, because I know that we are still so many causes to continue to be fighting for. Particularly, we still have Oscar Lopez Rivera that is on jail. We have Mumia, and we have so many brothers that are still on jail. And I think that we still have so many causes to continue to be fighting for. And in a day like this, also, I think that we are really happy, because finally the American government recognize or have put or have been pushed to recognize that the Cuban Revolution, the only way to be treated is with respect and with dialogue and cooperation. It's a clear recognition that the Cuban Revolution cannot be defeated through sanctions, through any kind of restriction, through the embargo. But still we have this particular main objective, because some changes are going to be produced, but the main obstacle on the normal relationship between Cuba and US, that is the continuation on embargo, the blockade. I think that now we need to continue to fight against the blockade and to put an end to the blockade of US against Cuba. Between you are people younger than me, but between you also there has been people that has been putting their whole life fighting for the revolution. I was born after 1959, but we have people here like Barron that has been putting his whole life for the victory of the cause of the Cuban people. And on behalf of the Cuban people, on behalf of our authorities, but particularly on behalf of our mission, we would like to express our recognition for all those people that have been keeping fighting all the time, that because I think that to be surrendered is not an option, and I think that we cannot have any kind of claudication, because when you are fighting for principles, when you are fighting for truth, when you are fighting for fairness, I think that the only way is continue that way, and we're never going to stop. In a day like today, I would like to express our deep appreciation for all the efforts that you did to be able to have a wonderful party like this. I think that it's a celebration. Revolutionary, social, committed person also need to have some part in his path to be celebrating with a particular victory like the one of the return of the Cuban Five has been achieved. Thank you very much for this party. Thank you very much for your fight. Thank you very much for your commitment. And you can count on Cuba, and you're always going to be counting with the Cuban people, with the Cuban Revolution, because we are starting the 57th year of the revolution, but what has been the 66th anniversary. But the name of the year in Cuba, that is years 57 of the revolution. But as Raúl Castro, our president, told in the meeting of the National Assembly, I think that if the Cuban people remain united, remain committed like this, I think that we are going to be for 570 years celebrating the revolution. Thanks a lot. Be sure that you can continue to be counting on Cuba to be committed with all your causes. We are going to still be combating racism and racial discrimination. We are going to be fighting for self-determination of the people of Puerto Rico. We are going to be remaining committed for also the rights of the indigenous populations of all parts of the world. We are going to be backing those popular processes in our region, particularly the revolution of Venezuela that is under attack. That is under attack by sanctions and other kind of activities to try to destroy this Bolivarian revolution that has been produced by Chavez. Also, we are going to be remaining committed in the fight for the liberation of all those political prisoners that are still on jail. And thanks a lot. You can count on Cuba, and this victory is a signal that we can get it and we can win. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rodolfo. Sisters and brothers, we have a film that's going to come out shortly, but we would be remiss at this point not to recognize, and I don't think applause is enough, the historic organization of solidarity with Cuba. The Venceremos Brigade is in the house. I want to ask the brigadistas to come forward and say presente, because they have been working, challenging the embargo for many, many, many years. So if some of you would come up front and say presente so that everyone here could see who are the brigadistas who are here today. Please don't be shy, come forward. Come forward, please. The Venceremos Brigade, Lourdes, Ben, Kathy, Angel, Bob. Please come forward. Come forward so we can thank you all for the work you've been doing. And you too, go ahead. Gail. Sisters and brothers, the Venceremos Brigade is in the house. Thank you, sisters and brothers. Thank you so much.
La venceremos, ni se rinde ni se vende. Malembe, ay, malembe.
Thank you, sisters and brothers. And now for the film.
En junio del 2001, cuando dijo, volverán, arribaron hoy a nuestra patria Gerardo, Ramón y Antonio.
Emoción compartida de millones de cubanos serían las palabras para definir la llegada de 3 héroes a su patria este 17 de diciembre de 2014. Orgullosos de ustedes por la resistencia que mostraron, por el valor y el ejemplo que representa eso para todos, fueron las palabras expresadas por Raúl al recibir a los 3 héroes cubanos.
En general estamos todavía emocionados, no sabe la palabra, pero la que sobra es gracias. Siempre vamos a pasar muchas gracias.
Y aquí el esperado encuentro, el de la amada, Adriana y Gerardo. El amor y la espontaneidad en el reencuentro de Ramón y Elizabeth. Y desborda de alegría y el orgullo de un hijo ante el regreso de su padre, Tony y Tonito. La ternura infinita de la madre y de la hermana, Mirta y Marucci. Raúl la alegría del reencuentro con la patria, con su gente y el compromiso de seguir con las tareas que les asigne la revolución. En horas de la tarde, el homenaje póstumo a los seres queridos que ya no están y que libraron una dura batalla por el regreso de sus hijos y sus hermanos. En el cementerio de Colón, en La Habana, Gerardo dedicó emocionadas palabras a su madre y a su hermana. En las flores que Ramón colocó en la tumba de su madre, en el cementerio de La Lisa, el más puro sentimiento de un hijo, la promesa de que su lucha no fue en vano.
Creo que hoy canto esa parte de la deuda contigo. Sabes que te amo mucho, siempre te amaré. Así que yo te dejo las flores. Sabes que siempre estaré contigo.
En el barrio fueron recibidos con la humildad y la sencillez de este pueblo, de donde han surgido y surgen los héroes. Con la presencia de los 5 héroes en la patria está la victoria de las ideas, de la espera y la batalla de los 5, de su familia, de la solidaridad internacional, del pueblo cubano, de sus líderes Fidel y Raúl. Talía González, Sistema Informativo de la Televisión Cubana.